Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. You are looking at Istanbul, Turkey, where this is the CHP party, the main opposition party, holding a rally/protest. Another night of protest night. This has gone on for the fifth night in a row after the government arrested the top rival of President Erdogan. The top rival is the mayor of Istanbul. Hold on a second here. I just need to get something up on the screen, or get something up here so I can see it. Get the chat room up. The government arrested the top rival of the president. That is the mayor of Istanbul, who was arrested, Ekrem Imamoglu. And they have now, as of today, removed him from office in Istanbul. So it is a political crisis in Turkey. Critics of the move say that the government under Erdogan is trying to remove the person who has the best chance of unseating Erdogan. So big political crisis going on in Turkey. We're going to be showing you some of the protest activity. There's a different protest going on that I had some video of. As soon as I get that back, I will put it on the screen for you. And we're going to be taking your comments and questions on the air. Give me one more moment here. Let me just put something up on the screen. Thank you, by the way, to... This is not in English. If I turn on the sound, you'll hear it's not in English.
Girin Google'a bakın. Türbün büyüğü heybet.
Yeah, so that is why I'm not playing the sound right now. That is why I'm not playing the sound right now. Hold on a moment here. By the way, quick thanks to all of our moderators who are here. We have Ruth Krafasi, Beth Mythical, over there on YouTube, Sarah55, over on X, Linda Bell, Clary, Misha, and on Twitch, thanks to our moderators over there, we have Good Luck Duck, Idaho Star, Matthew Kohai 3, McBridges, and Surly Dev. Also, thanks to our Facebook moderators, we have Kay Lowry Body and Margaret Riley over there moderating. Thank you. And thanks so much to Lexa Fulmer, our member, and Mr. Radix, our member, and Annie L. for the gift memberships, and also Uncle Lester Cam. This is Istanbul. This is what you're seeing now is video from Istanbul. That's what you're seeing. And it's live. It's live video from Istanbul. Istanbul used to be known as Constantinople. Years ago. According to Wikipedia, the name was officially changed to Istanbul in 1930. Thank you, Uncle Leisterkamp. Okay, let's see. So I'm keeping my eye out because there's some more protest stuff going on, but the video keeps coming in and out. So let me keep watching for that. In the meantime, we'll discuss again, I'm not playing I'll play the audio for a second. Again, the problem is it's not in English. So I was going to leave the video up and then we can talk about things. I can put it on low too.
Üç kere beraat etse de içeride tuttukları, serbest kalınca casusluktan tutup, casusluktan beraat ettirip, geziden...
All right, so let's talk about what is going on there. Let us talk about what is going on there in Turkey. I have some different articles here. Here's one right here. Turkish court orders key Erdogan rival jailed pending trial on corruption charges. Now, again, the critics of the charges say they are just basically made-up charges to keep Imamoglu from running against. There's Imamoglu right there, the mayor of Istanbul. Critics say the charges are just to keep him from running in the presidential election, next presidential election against President Erdogan. So AP reports a court formally arrested the mayor of Istanbul today, a key rival to President Erdogan, on Sunday, and ordered him jailed pending the outcome of a trial on corruption charges. Mayor Ekrem Imamoglu was detained, I believe it was on Wednesday, following a raid on his residence earlier this week, sparking the largest wave of street demonstrations in Turkey in more than a decade. It also deepened concerns over democracy and rule of law in Turkey. His imprisonment is, according to AP, his imprisonment is widely regarded as a political move to remove a major contender from the next presidential race, which is currently scheduled for 2028, but my understanding is it'll likely be before then, because 2028 would be the end of Erdogan's second term as president, and constitutionally he can't run for another term, but he can run for another term if Parliament calls for an election before 2028. So it's thought that the election might happen before 2028. Again, AP says his imprisonment is widely regarded as a political move to remove a major contender from the next presidential race, currently scheduled for 2028. Government officials reject the accusations and insist that Turkey's courts operate independently. The prosecutor's office said that the court decided to jail Imamoglu on suspicion of running a criminal organization, accepting bribes, extortion, illegally recording personal data, and big rigging. A request for him to be imprisoned on terror-related charges was rejected, although he still faces prosecution. Following the court's ruling, Imamoglu was transferred to Silivri prison west of Istanbul. By the way, the government has also people are protesting anyway, but the government has also temporarily banned protests. And I'll get you more specifics on that. And I don't know if they're still doing it for several days, according to NetBlocks. For several days, they had been blocking social media. So back on 3 days ago, you can see here, NetBlocks said it has now been 40 hours since Turkey imposed widespread social media and messaging restrictions amidst the detention of political opposition figures, including Istanbul Mayor Imamoglu. I don't know what the current status of the internet in Turkey. I'm also trying to get some more video for you. There was another video going on, and there's another video that Reuters periodically has of another protest going on, which is less organized and is like shows people facing off with police. When that comes back, I will put it on the screen for you. Okay, so I'm keeping an eye out for that in any other video. A little more background here. The Interior Ministry of Turkey later announced that Mayor of Istanbul Imamoglu had been suspended from his duties as mayor as a, quote, temporary measure. Istanbul had previously appointed an acting mayor from its governing council. Alongside Imamoglu, who again is the top political rival to President Erdogan, 47 other people were also jailed pending trial, including a key Imamoglu aide and 2 district mayors from Istanbul, one of whom was replaced with a government appointee. A further 44 suspects were released under judicial control. according to the government, 323 people were detained last night over disturbances at protests. AP says largely peaceful protests across Turkey have seen hundreds of thousands come out in support of Imamoglu. However, there has been some violence, with police deploying water cannons, tear gas, pepper spray, and firing plastic pellets at protesters in Istanbul, Ankara, and Izmir, some of whom hurled stones, fireworks, and other missiles at riot police. And the timing of this is really interesting. So again, Imamoglu was initially arrested on Wednesday. Today, so he was arrested just a few days before the main opposition party, the CHP, his party, began holding a presidential primary election to endorse him, the only candidate. So today was the opposition party's primary to endorse Imamoglu. He's the only candidate running for the main opposition party. And today was their opposition primary, and just on Wednesday, a few days before that, they arrested him. The opposition party has also set up symbolic ballot boxes nationwide to allow people who are not party members to express their support for the mayor. Large crowds gathered early today to cast a, quote, solidarity ballot. One supporter of one person who was voting for, it sounds like this is a person voting for Imamoglu. A person AP talked to at one of the polling places, this was at the opposition polling place, said, this is no longer just a problem of the Republican People's Party, which is the opposition party, but a problem of Turkish democracy. This person said, we do not accept our rights being so easily usurped. We will fight until the end. Another person who was at a polling station for the opposition presidential primary today told AP he feared that in the end will be like Russia, a country without an opposition where only a single man participates in elections. Let me tell you what Imamoglu posted on social media today. He said, this is a post from Imamoglu, who says, today Turkey woke up to a profound betrayal. The ongoing judicial process is far from being fair. It is an execution without trial. I invite our nation to fight for their rights. This fight is crucial for the future of our nation and our children. For the future of Turkey, make sure to cast your vote today. Again, today was the presidential primary for the main opposition party. And Imamoglu is going to be the, well, they might not let him run. He was going to be the candidate of the opposition party. And so they invited people today who weren't even in their party to come and make a symbolic vote if they wanted, because of what's been going on the last few days. For the future of Turkey, make sure to cast your vote today. Then join us in Istanbul's, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Sarashani, and in the squares of democracy all across Turkey to make your voice heard. Today is the day to claim responsibility and stand up for justice against those who usurp the will of the people, altogether leaving no one behind. So this is the CHP opposition party rally going on now in Istanbul.
Ekrem İmamoğlu'nun bu binadaki bütün performansı ortada. Önceki 5 yıl, yani AK Parti'nin yönettiği 5 yılda harcanan paranın dolar üzerinden yarısıyla, tam yarısıyla AK Parti'nin yaptığı işlerin tam 2 katını yaptı.
John Durham says, what is the EU doing about this? I'll try to get you some EU quotes on this. I believe that the the Trump administration has not really come out about this yet, from what I understand. I don't believe that I don't know that there's been a statement about this specific thing from the Trump administration. I need to check. The articles I've read said it's been pretty quiet. Let me read some comments from you guys.
Başkan'ın döneminde 2 kere 2 4 değil 8 etti. Sen mi yolsuzsun, Ekrem Başkan mı yolsuz?
Matthew Shaw says, coming to a country near you.
Eğer Ekrem Başkan'ın yönetiminde
Our viewer, Semi SWT Petunia, says, pretty obvious what is going on there. Dennis Sovan says, my Turkish friends here in Germany are all very upset.
burada 4 katlık bir fark var ve
Our viewer, Otto Delu, says, Erdogan don't like rivals for sure.
adamlarının cebine suçüstü yakalandın. Suçüstü yakalandın.
Lonel thinks Erdogan is behaving like a dictator.
Ve özellikle
Again, these are the biggest demonstrations in over a decade in Turkey.
isterim ki bu memlekette asgari ücretliye TÜİK bile enflasyonu 40 bulmuşken 30 veren, en düşük emekli maaşına %15 zam yapacak kadar
There was a good
vicdansızlaşan ama
summary of this today in Al Monitor.
doymayan, etrafını
There is
doymayan bir iktidar yönetiyor.
Our viewer Hate Lusen says, history playing out.
Biz bu haramilerin saltanatını yıkacağız.
Happy Fergus says,
Yıkacağız.
he's been in power for what, 23 years? Erdogan,
2000
so he was the prime minister from 2003 to 2014, and he's been the president since 2014.
sonra mazbata iptal edilince
So he's basically been in power, as I understand it, since 2003.
şarkı koymuştu ve diyordu ki o şarkıda, bekle bizi İstanbul diyordu. Bekle bizi İstanbul. Haramilerin saltanatını yıkacağız.
Oh, I'm going to turn this down. Hold on a second here. Again, that is Istanbul. That's live video. Yeah, he has been leading Turkey since 2003. Erdogan. Let's talk some more about this. Oops, hang on a moment here. And again, I'm hoping to have some other video for you. Oh, I have more video. I have other video. Hold on. I have more video. I have video from Ankara, Turkey. Hang on a moment. I'm going to put other video up for you right now from Ankara, Turkey. If I can get it on the screen here. Is this going to work? Yes, that is Ankara. Look at this. But it's lots of music. Hold on, where's that? Protests in Ankara, Turkey. Oh, and I have another video for you too. I got another one coming up from Istanbul. Hang on a second here. Here's another one. Hold on. We're getting another video up for you on the screen right now. If you give me 2 seconds. No. There. That's in Istanbul right there. That's a video from Istanbul. Look at this. It's going in and out. If it pauses, I'll put up the other one. But you can say there's all these police on the left. There's police on the left and protesters on the right. This video has been coming in and out tonight. So I thought they had it back. It's not back yet. I think we'll go to the Ankara run until this comes back. Let's go back to Ankara. Ankara is this one. That's Ankara. Oh, the other one just came back. Hang on, we got the Istanbul one back. Hang on. We're back in Istanbul. We are back in Istanbul. Thank you, Music Muse, by the way, and Tim Glenn. I might have had a typo up on the screen. If I did, I'm sorry. It's Ankara, A-N-K. But I might have had a typo and just didn't see it. This is Istanbul. And then we'll keep this on the screen for now. Helen says, does the protesting always take place at night? I believe there have been protests 5 straight nights. I don't know if all of the protesting has been at night, but I know that's when a lot of the protesting has happened. Okay, so people are throwing some stuff at the police. You can see right there. There's the police on the left. Looks like maybe fireworks or stuff. Again, this is a... there was protesting at this location last night, I know. So, hang on. They're having some issue with their picture. I will switch to a different picture if this one freezes. This one is coming in and out tonight. They're having some issue getting the signal out. So if this freezes, I'll give it a second. I can always go to the other one. Here is the other one. That's Ankara there. Oh, hold on. We got Istanbul back. We got Istanbul back. We got Istanbul back. We got Istanbul back. Here it is. A lot of police on the left. Again, this started on Wednesday when the main political rival of President Erdogan, Mayor Imamoglu of Istanbul, was arrested. And he has been jailed. He has been removed from office. And today he was formally arrested and removed from office as the mayor of Istanbul. And many see these charges as just a political move to sideline a potential challenger, the biggest potential challenger to President Erdogan in the next presidential election. President Erdogan has been ruling the country since 2003. So this is the biggest protest in Turkey in over a decade. What were the charges? They said they were investigating him on corruption and terrorism charges. And today he was jailed on things like suspicion of running a criminal organization, accepting bribes, extortion, illegally recording personal data, and bid rigging. That's according to AP. Also, earlier this week, or early in the middle of last week, another thing that happened is, you know, in Turkey, you need to have a college degree to run for president. It just so happened that last week, the day before he was arrested, his college took away his college degree. That was Istanbul University last week, the day before he was arrested, annulled his college degree, which was from 1990. And as I said, you need a college degree to run for president in Turkey. All right, so we're keeping an eye on this. I'm sorry about the video going in and out. I have some other video we can show, but we'll leave this up for a second because this kind of keeps coming in and out. This video from Istanbul here. We're still hearing the sound on that video. It's just the video keeps coming in and out. Hey, thanks to Tim Glenn for your support. Thank you, Tim. Also, thank you to Music Muse. Hey, Tim, if there's real-time audio translation, I'm not aware that this exists, real-time audio translation software. Tim says maybe it'll come out in the next year or two. If something is invented and you're allowed to use it for this kind of application, then I would certainly look into getting it. All right, let me put up on the screen, since this video is frozen, let me put up this one. That is from Ankara. That's not Istanbul, that's Ankara. I also need to just do this. Hang on a moment. Hang on a moment. Again, you're looking at Ankara, not Istanbul. I will change it in a second on the screen. Our viewer, Apple Tree, says this is dangerous stuff. I'm going to read you also, there was a, oh, by the way, thanks to Fred Witherow for your support. Thank you, Fred. I'm gonna read you guys, there was a good update today in this, it's a publication called Al Monitor, AL-Monitor. They had a good update today, and they said I could read their update. So let me read you some of this update from Al Monitor. The headline on Al Monitor is, Turkey suspends Imamoglu's mayoral duties, keeps him under arrest as more protests expected. So Al Monitor reports, I'm going to post a link to this article in case you want to read it yourself. I'm posting a link to the article right now. Oh, hold on. Before I read it, though, I'm going to go back. I have the other video from Istanbul. Let's go back to Istanbul. Hey, guys, it's Istanbul right here. Look at this. This is in Istanbul, Turkey. This video keeps going in and out. I'm sure a lot of people on their phones there. I don't know how the phone signal is there. Every time I think it's coming back, it comes back for a second and then doesn't come back. All right, we might have to go back to Istanbul. I mean, back to Ankara. The BB88 thinks the government is using jammers. Yeah, one of our viewers, the BB88, thinks the government is jamming the signal. I don't know. The government has issued prohibitions on protesting. Some people are coming out anyway, but the government has... they originally, I think, banned protests for 4 days, and then I think it was another 4 days. I'll have to double check on that. So I don't know if the government is doing anything with the cell signal. I also showed you that in the initial days after the arrest of the Istanbul mayor, according to NetBlocks, the government was severely curtailing use of social media sites. That's according to NetBlocks. I don't know whether those restrictions on social media sites. NetBlocks said that in the first couple days after the arrest, Turkey imposed widespread social media and messaging restrictions. I don't know if that's still going on there. Hold on, some videos coming back. I can switch to the other video too, but you can see there's a bunch of police on the left and there's protesters on the right. All right, let me go back to the other video from Ankara. Thank you so much to Tyler Titanus Sprague. Thanks, Tyler. We got some video back from this one. I'm gonna put video from Istanbul and Ankara. This is Istanbul, because that way I don't have to keep switching it. What I'm going to do though is, got to do it this way. All right, let me go back to this video. Oh, hold on. We got this one back. Up, this one is back. That one's back.
Genciz, güçlüyüz, Atatürk'üyüz.
Hiç kalacak. Abo hiçti, hiç kalacak. Abo hiçti, hiç kalacak. Abo hiçti, hiç kalacak. Abo hiçti, hiç kalacak. Abo hiçti, kalacak. Hiçti, hiç kalacak.
All right, let me give you a little background here. I was gonna read this before. For those of you just joining the stream, let me give you a little background. This is from Al Monitor, AL-Monitor. I'll post the link in the chat. They have some good Middle East coverage. So they say that Turkish authorities on Sunday temporarily suspended the Istanbul Mayor Ekrem Imamoglu, a key rival of President Erdogan and a potential presidential contender, from his mayoral duties. They suspended him as mayor after an Istanbul court formally arrested him early Sunday, pending the outcome of his trial on corruption charges. The Interior Ministry then announced that Mayor Imamoglu and two other Istanbul district mayors had been temporarily suspended from their offices. Imamoglu was arrested over corruption and terrorism-related accusations on Wednesday, sparking mass protests across Turkey as opposition voices deemed the detention a politically motivated move aimed at a key political rival of Erdogan. The Turkish government strongly denies the accusation, insisting that the judiciary operates independently. Al Monitor also points out that today was the presidential primary for the main opposition party, the CHP, where Imamoglu is expected to be confirmed as the main opposition candidate for the upcoming election, which for now is scheduled in 2028. This is me talking here now. It's for now scheduled in 2028, but it's thought it might happen sooner. Last night, hundreds of thousands of people gathered outside of Istanbul City Hall, says Al Monitor, for the largest of 4 consecutive nights of protests. Tonight is the 5th night, while thousands across Turkey took to the streets. Oh, here's something about the ban. So today, according to Al Monitor, yesterday, according to Al Monitor, the Istanbul governor's office restricted entry into Istanbul, which is Turkey's largest metropolis. The Istanbul governor said yesterday, individuals, groups, and vehicles from districts within our province or neighboring provinces who are likely to participate in illegal actions, either individually or collectively, will not be allowed to enter or exit our province using provincial routes. The public demonstration ban, which has been in place since Wednesday, the day that Imamoglu was first arrested, in Istanbul, was also extended for another 4 days. That's in Istanbul province. That came on top of transportation restrictions around Istanbul City Hall, the police headquarters, and the courthouse, says Al Monitor. Access to social media platforms, including X, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, remained restricted for several days, according to NetBlocks. The social media platform X suspended dozens of accounts, reportedly at the request of Turkish authorities. Turkish authorities have detained a total of 763 demonstrators since Imamoglu's detention on Wednesday, according to the government. Al Monitor also reports that speculation has been rife since the beginning of the week that the government's next move could involve appointing a trustee to the main opposition party, the CHP, replacing the leader of the main opposition party, as part of a new prosecutorial probe into the alleged irregularities during the party's November 2023 convention. A day before Mayor of Istanbul, Imamoglu, who again is the top political rival of President Erdogan, a day before Mayor Imamoglu was arrested on Wednesday, Istanbul University annulled his college degree, citing irregularities in his 1990 undergraduate transfer from a Turkish Cypriot university to Istanbul University's School of Business Administration. A valid university degree is a constitutional requirement for presidential candidates in Turkey. That is from Al Monitor, AL-Monitor. I'll post the link to the coverage in the chat again. I appreciate them letting me share their summary of what's going on. Val says they were gradually turning up the heat.
Yandaş medya dışarı! Yandaş medya dışarı! Yandaş medya
Oh, there's water being spread. There's water cannon being used. Look, it's water cannon. You can see it. Wow. That looks like water cannon. There's police firing water at the protesters in Ankara. Look at this. I assume it's water. Big police presence there in Ankara. Now, I don't know. I mean, it looked like water. It could be something else besides water. I don't know. Some of our, Woodrow, our viewer, says must be more than water. I don't know if something else is in it. Again, this is Ankara, Turkey. This is the capital of Turkey. The capital of Turkey, Ankara. I don't know if they're firing tear gas or what right now. Hazel Kalemder says they're from Turkey. They think they're firing tear gas now. Wow, look at this. So it looked like they fired some water cannon. Now the people are just back where they were before. More water cannon. Look at this. Wow, look at this. More of it. Wow. I have other video too from Istanbul. On the top there is Istanbul on the top, Ankara on the bottom, Istanbul on the top. Look at this! Wow! Whoa! More water coming. Again, Istanbul video on the top, Ankara on the bottom. All right, so we're showing you protests right now from both Ankara and Istanbul in Turkey. Ankara on the bottom, Istanbul on the top. Big crowds out there. Fifth straight night of protests in Turkey, largest protests in over a decade. This comes after the main political rival to President Erdogan, who has been in power over 20 years in Turkey. The main political rival who was supposed to run against him in the next presidential election, that is Ekrem Imamoglu, the mayor of Istanbul. He was arrested on Wednesday. He was detained on Wednesday. He was formally arrested today. He has been jailed. Today he was removed from office as mayor. And critics of this move say it is Erdogan basically trying to remove one of his remove his main political rival from contention before the next election. So big demonstrations going on in Turkey. Let's keep checking these out. I'm going to show you some of the other one as well. I think I might make the Istanbul one bigger. Let you see that too. Wow, look at this one. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. We got more stuff being sprayed. Look at this. Spraying water at the protesters. Maybe watering something else, I don't know. That's going on right now in Ankara. Really quick, let me just get this out of the way. Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Crazy video. The main video is from Ankara. Wow, more of this. Wow, look at this. Look at what's going on in Ankara, Turkey right now. This is Ankara, Turkey. Wow.
Bu ülkede, bu devlette her şey tamam, bu ülkede biz polisin karşı değiliz. Ama yanlış yapıyor.
Wow. Look at this. Wow. More of the water cannon. Our viewer WD40 says intense stuff. It is intense there. Look at this. Then we have down here, oh, this is still going on. Hold on.
Beyler bir çekilin oradan ya. Bir çekilin. Abi görmüyoruz. Bir şey görmüyoruz abi.
Sen niye görüyorsun? Biz görüyoruz zaten. Görme ne olacak? Beni görsün.
Wow, look at this. This is Ankara right now. Multiple water cannon firing at the protesters. Quick thank you to Sunflower for your support. Thank you, Sunflower, Martin Gingrich, Eamon O'Leary, Turan Erturk, Bebop and Rocksteady, and Tyler Becker. Thanks for your support. Also, Pro Clicker over there on Twitch, Monkey on Twitch. Thank you. Wow, look at this. Wow, wow. Whoa. Crazy video. This is Ankara, Turkey. Unbelievable. This is in Ankara right now. Thank you also to Graham Zusi, the Silver Sergeant, and New Next Wow. Thank you. Political crisis in Turkey. This began on Wednesday when the government detained the mayor of Istanbul, Turkey, who is seen as the top political rival and top challenger to President Erdogan. President Erdogan has been in power in Turkey since 2003. The mayor of Istanbul has now been jailed on corruption charges, and he's been removed from office, and a number of other opposition figures have been detained, and opponents of this move say that it is a political move designed to basically get rid of President Erdogan's main rival in politics there before the next election. Look, we see people, people with, looks like police with shields on the left there. This is in Ankara. These are the biggest protests biggest street protests in over a decade in Turkey. Look, they're building a barricade. They're building barricades right now. The protesters are building barricades. Thank you to Daniel Lowry and Adrian Goodman and Bebop and Rocksteady and Trump's Sword. Wow, look at this, look at this. Whoa. Oh. The trucks are moving forward. The truck's moving forward right now. The trucks are moving forward. Look at this. Wow. That is Ankara in the corner. I mean, sorry, that is Istanbul in the corner. Istanbul is down there. The trucks continue to move forward now. Look at what's going on in Istanbul. Hold on. There's a lot of police in Istanbul too there on that shot. We got double shots for you. I'm keeping the Ankara one bigger, but we got stuff going on in both places. Oh, tear gas. Is that tear gas there? Are we seeing tear gas? Right there? The trucks continue to move forward. I have the audio on from both shots. The coughing is from this shot. Look at this. Wow. The police continue to move forward. We're going to lose our camera position in a second. The camera's going to... Oh, the camera's moving. Good job by the camera person. The camera person, I think, is going to move. I think they might be in... Are they in a tree? Where are they? On a ladder? Wow. The New York Times reports that some European leaders have criticized the mayor's arrest and called on the Turkish government to uphold the rule of law. Senior U.S. officials have said little. I've seen a number of articles that have said that. Little comment so far from the Trump administration on what's going on in Turkey. Maybe, I have to see, maybe some more since I came on the air, but I haven't seen it yet. All right, the camera moved. Look at this. Wow. This is in Ankara, Turkey. Live video, protesters facing off with the law enforcement vehicles. Look at all the police in the back. Or is that protesters in the back? Looks like police in the back. I think, are those tear gas canisters on the ground, the orange things? What are those? Are they fruit? Oranges? Some people just say they're oranges. Maybe they're oranges, I don't know. Are they oranges? Maybe they're fruit. There's a lot of them. Look at this. Wow, look at this. Whoa, they're arresting. Oh, they got look, what was going on right there? They were arrested. Were they arresting someone, or was that a police officer on the ground or a protester? Someone was getting taken by other people. I couldn't really tell what we were seeing. But he was going back towards the police. It looked like a police officer on the ground, but going back towards the police. Look at this. Police moving forward. Police are arresting. Are they arresting someone right there? Look at this. live in Ankara, Turkey. Thank you, Bebop and Rocksteady, for your support. Bebop and Rocksteady. Also, Arkwolf 1991. Thank you. Quick thanks to Arkwolf, Bebop and Rocksteady, and Tyler, Titanus Sprague, and Daniel Lowry, who says crazy scenes, and Adrian Goodman. Thank you. Thank you. Police keep moving forward. Will the camera move again? Is the camera going to move again? The camera is moving along with police. Good job by the camera person. As the police move forward, camera's right on it there. Wow. Unbelievable. Oh, police coming forward. Are they taking somebody else into custody? It looks like they've been taking people into custody. That's what it looks like.
Arkanıza bakarak memleketinizi koruyun. Korumasız kalmayın.
Police continue to march forward. What's going on over there?
Devam et.
Are they arresting somebody else there? Somebody else being taken into custody? Hoping to get the video back from Istanbul. Thank you, Bebop and Rocksteady.
Hükümet! İstifa! Hükümet! İstifa! Hükümet! İstifa! Hükümet! İstifa! Hükümet! İstifa! Hükümet! İstifa!
Police continue to move forward here in Ankara, Turkey. The temperature, I looked up the temperature, was 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, in Ankara, 48 Fahrenheit, 9 Celsius. 48 Fahrenheit, 9 Celsius. Look at this. lot of protesters still there. Look at this. Wow. A quick thank you so much to Fred Vanderwerf, that's Big Boss Now. Thank you so much, Big Boss Now. Very kind of you. Also, very kind of you, Trump Sword. Thanks for all your support of the channel. Trump Sword, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Also, Bebop and Rocksteady and Lucas Malik. Hey, just shout out to our moderators who are here. Beth Mythical is moderating right now. Over on X, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, Ruth Krafasi is here on YouTube. Over on Twitch, Big Ball of Yarn, Good Luck Duck, Matthew Kohai 3, McBritches, and Surly Dev. And thanks so much to Lilith21123 on Twitch. Thanks, Lilith. And Pro Clicker and Monkey on Twitch. Thank you. Also, Tyler. I'm sorry. I got a little confused. Our moderators on Twitch, Big Ball of Yarn, Good Luck Duck, Matthew Kohai 3, McBritches, and Surly Dev. Thanks for your support on Twitch, Lilith, Pro Clicker, Monkey. Thanks also for your support, Tyler, Titanus, Sprague. And also thanks to our Facebook moderators, Kay Lowry, Body, Margaret Riley. Really appreciate all of our moderators with us here. Let's go back to the protest. When I get a second, we'll talk a little more about what's happening, but I want to just keep an eye on the video right now of the protests in Turkey. Also, a quick shout out to Danny Wood in our YouTube chat. Thanks for coming by the stream, Danny. All right, the police are moving forward again in Ankara. More water cannon now. Look at this, look at this. Wow.
Ay! Ne yapıyorsunuz lan? Amına koydum lan lan, ne yapıyorsunuz lan? Bak bak, anasını.
Let me just summarize what's going on here. Well, hold on a second here. Let's hold on. Let's look at. Wow, they're shooting down the street there. Whoa, whoa! Look at this. Look at this. Shooting down the side street with the water cannon.
Çık! Çık! Çık buradan! Sağ tarafa çok taş atıyorlar sağdan.
More down the street. Wow, they're already all the way down there now. Look at this, whoa. Wonder if the camera will go down there.
İndi mi o?
Ahmet, gel Ahmet alma gel.
Supposed to get some video from Istanbul too. That video went out, but we're supposed to get some video back from Istanbul. As soon as I have it, I'll show it to you. The crowd's still down there on the right. He's walking towards them, I think. I don't know how much people have dispersed and how much they've just moved away. What's happening here? Oh, it looks like somebody getting arrested. Is that like secret police? I mean, I don't know. That looks like somebody getting arrested by plainclothes officers or something. You see that? That was somebody getting taken away, but the people taking her away were not wearing police gear. So I don't know what was happening with that. Yeah, there's been big protests in Istanbul tonight, but this is an Ankara video. This is from the capital, Ankara. We'll see if we get the video back from Istanbul. And again, there's a line of police up there. I'm not sure, have the demonstrators just moved down the street? Is that what's happened? I'm not positive. I can't see that far down. Maybe they cleared out like a central area or something, because those cars are facing the other way. Thank you, by the way, to Trump Sword and Roger Shoemaker and Red Wolf. Maybe they were just trying to clear out a particular part. Oh, where are they going? They going down one of the side streets? All right, we're going down there now. Thank you, Erwin Huppeldepup and Bebop and Rocksteady for your support. I'm going to give you a little summary of what's going on in a second here. Thanks to Mikhail. We might have lost that video. Well, that might be the end of that video. That guy's been out there for a while. Well, we'll see if we get any more video coming in. If we might be videoless for the moment. We're supposed to get more video from Istanbul. All right, that I think both videos might have ended. So I'm going to keep an eye out, but that's the video I have right now. Let's talk about what's been going on here. Oops, let me show you. Turkey jails Istanbul mayor before trial, stoking opposition anger. So we have been covering this. This is the fifth night of protests in Turkey. On Wednesday, the government arrested the mayor of Istanbul, who is the top political rival to President Erdogan, who's been in power for 22 years in Turkey. And critics say that the arrest is a move by the president to basically sideline his political rival before the next presidential election. So there have been the biggest protests in over a decade in Turkey, in various parts of Turkey going on. We've been watching people protesting in Ankara and Istanbul during this stream. So let's talk about this a bit. This is a Reuters article. It says, a Turkish court today jailed Istanbul Mayor Ekrem Imamoglu, President Erdogan's main political rival, pending a trial on corruption charges in a move likely to inflame the country's biggest protests in more than a decade. The decision to send Imamoglu to jail comes after the main opposition party, European leaders, and tens of thousands of protesters criticized the actions against him as politicized and undemocratic. As the courtroom developments unfolded, there were signs that the mayor's troubles were galvanizing opposition against Erdogan's government, which has run Turkey for 22 years. Thousands of members of the opposition People's Party, CHP, and non-members streamed into polling stations nationwide to elect Imamoglu as its candidate in a future presidential vote. Will he be allowed to run for president? We don't know. And remember the timing of all this. Today was the scheduled day when the main opposition party would have their primary and choose Imamoglu as their candidate. So just a few days before then, on Tuesday, the university that Imamoglu graduated from back on Tuesday annulled his degree. And you have to have a degree to run for president in Turkey. So on Tuesday, they annulled his degree over supposed irregularities back over 30 years ago. Then on Wednesday, he was detained. And now today, he's been stripped of his mayoral duties. You can see here it says, and then today the opposition party, Imamoglu's party, was having their primary vote. They went ahead with their primary vote today, and they invited people who weren't even members of their party to come vote to show as a sign of protest against what's been going on with the arrest of the mayor. The non-mayor member vote will be closely watched as an indicator of how much support the widely popular Imamoglu enjoys beyond the party faithful. Imamoglu has denied the charges he faces as unimaginable accusations and slanders and called for nationwide protests today. He said, "We will rip away this coup, this dark stain on our democracy altogether." Footage showed what broadcasters says was Imamoglu being taken to Silivri prison in a police convoy. He was removed from duty along with 2 other district mayors. The government denies that investigations are politically motivated and says courts are independent. A nationwide ban on street gatherings was extended yesterday for 4 more days, but protests and skirmishes with police continued through the night in major cities. So once the government arrested Imamoglu, they declared a ban on street gatherings, and that ban has been extended several more days. The court said Imamoglu and at least 20 others were jailed as a part of what they called a corruption investigation. One of 2 opened against him last week. The court said he was arrested for, quote, establishing and leading a criminal organization, accepting bribes, embezzlement, unlawfully recording personal data, and rigging public tenders in connection with a financial investigation. The jailing caps a months-long legal crackdown on opposition figures and the removal of other elected officials from office in what critics called a government attempt to hurt their election prospects. Six of the main opposition parties' 27 municipal mayors are now under arrest, a year after opposition parties handed Erdogan's AK party its worst ever electoral defeat in municipal elections. Now, I was talking about this before. There's no election for president scheduled till 2028, but that would be the end of Erdogan's second term. So, and he wouldn't be allowed to run again, but he can run again if there's an election before then. If Erdogan, 71, who has led Turkey for 20 years, is to run again, Parliament would need to back an earlier election, since by 2028 Erdogan will have reached his term limit. Imamoglu is leading Erdogan in some opinion polls. Imamoglu is also facing terrorism charges from the government, but the court did not formally arrest him or those at the same time. Okay. A future ruling to jail Imamoglu pending trial on terrorism-related charges could allow the government to appoint their own person, a trustee, to run Istanbul. A conviction could prevent him from running for president. Let's see. Shortly after the court ruling, the mayor vowed to ultimately defeat Erdogan and said those who ran the investigation would be held accountable. Imamoglu's detention has roiled markets, with the Turkish lira, Turkish stocks, and Turkish bonds suffering heavy declines since Wednesday. Analysts expect more selling pressure after the jailing. Civil disobedience, says Reuters, has been dramatically curbed in Turkey since nationwide protests against the government in 2013, which prompted a violent state crackdown. Yet thousands gathered last night. We saw a lot of people out tonight. Hundreds of police used tear gas and pepper spray to disperse protesters last night. We saw them dispersing protesters tonight. Though most demonstrations have been peaceful, protesters also clashed with police in the western coastal province of Izmir in the capital Ankara for the third night in a row. We were just looking at Ankara. So, political crisis in Turkey. What is going to happen there? I think the live videos are done at the moment. The ones we were seeing from Reuters, and I'm not seeing from any from AFP at the moment. Some of our viewers were asking about like a NATO statement. Let's see here. I'll have to look for you and see if I can find one. BBC says supporters credit Erdogan with driving economic growth, expanding the middle class, and lifting millions out of poverty during his rule. But critics say he is undermining the country's secular democratic principles and supporting Islamist causes. Here's a statement from earlier today from Imamoglu. He said, "I will stand tall and keep my head high. Fear cannot stop the inevitable. One way or another, you will be defeated. You will be defeated by our just cause, our courage, our humility, and our warm smiles. My great nation, do not be sad, do not be disheartened, and never lose hope. Together we will erase this blow to our democracy, this dark stain once and for all. The days are near when those who orchestrated this dark plot will be held accountable both in this world and before the Almighty in the hereafter. I call on all 86 million of my fellow citizens to head to the ballot boxes." This was today because his opposition party, the CHP, was having their primary today. "And show the world our fight for democracy and justice. I stand tall and will keep my head high. Everything will be much better," he wrote. So where is this all going in Turkey? That I do not know. There was an interesting article in The Economist I wanted to mention too. Our viewer Godira Hari Dog on Twitch thinks that Imamoglu will not be allowed to run in the next election. I don't have other live videos. I can only use the live videos that I have the rights to because I pay for them. So I can't just take other videos I find on the internet. You know, they come and they go, and also, you know, the person who is shooting from Ankara was shooting for hours, so they can have an issue with the battery, or, you know, you can think of various reasons why they couldn't continue. Maybe they need a break. I don't know how long they've been out there for. But right now, we were just showing you a bunch of video. Right now, I don't have any video at the moment I can show you. One Eye, our viewer, says, it's going to be an interesting summer. All the signs are there. Hard to believe those scenes in Turkey be happening worldwide. Gonna be especially bad in Europe and America, says our viewer One Eye. One of our viewers asked about the Al Monitor article. Al Monitor, AL-Monitor, had some reporting today. They said that since Thursday, when the protests began to grow, warnings from figures close to Erdogan's ruling AKP party also increased. Among them, they said, this is Al Monitor. I'll show you where this is. This is from Al Monitor. Thanks to them for letting me show their article. AL Monitor. You can go over there for Middle East coverage. They said among them is former Turkish President Abdullah Gül, one of the founders of the AKP and a longtime Erdogan ally. He said, I am closely following the process with concern. He said, injustices once done to President Erdogan and myself were not accepted by the public conscience. Similar wrongs should not be done to Imamoglu, who was elected mayor by the will of the people. And Al Monitor also says, Turkish government officials strongly reject any political interference in the two separate terrorism and corruption investigations launched against Imamoglu and have accused the main opposition of attempting to cover up the charges against Imamoglu and more than 90 others detained alongside him by inciting public unrest. Let me read you what Erdogan posted yesterday. Supporters of opposition parties as well as national and international rights groups, meanwhile, view the arrest as politically motivated, says Al Monitor. Al Monitor also points out, they say at the bottom here, hold on, I'll show you. International bodies, including the European Union, have long criticized the erosion of judicial independence and increasing authoritarian rule in Turkey, particularly since its transition to an executive presidential system under Erdogan in 2018. Let me read you what Erdogan says to it today. Where is... There's a bunch of posts he made. I'm going to try to... Some of this might be domestic stuff that I don't really understand. But here is Erdogan. This is a post he made yesterday. He said a lot of filth is being spread around, including diploma fraud. So again, the day before he was arrested, the mayor of Istanbul's, the university he graduated from, annulled his degree, claiming irregularities from over 30 years ago. And it just so happens that you need a college degree to run for president in Turkey. That was the day before he was arrested. So he says there's talk of diploma fraud, which violates the rights of hundreds of thousands of young people. He said there is talk of terrible theft worth hundreds of billions of lira. I guess this is the corruption allegations. But the CHP chairman, that's the opposition party, and his followers cannot answer any of these questions. He said, instead of coming out like lions and responding to the allegations, they are trying to suppress the crime like vicious thieves by attacking us, by being rude to our People's Alliance partner and its esteemed chairman, by causing chaos in the streets, by hiding behind the youth, and by putting forward marginal leftist organizations. That's some of what Erdogan had to say yesterday. And then I wanted to mention The Economist, which is a publication I really like. They have a story out. Their view is that President Erdogan jails his rival and endangers Turkey's democracy. You can go read the whole thing over on The Economist. I just want to mention a little what they had to say. They said that Imamoglu is the opposition's star politician. Nearly 15 million voters had confirmed him as the next presidential candidate of the CHP party. But he is now behind bars. They say that today the court formally arrested. He had been arrested a few days ago, but he was formally arrested today. The Economist says that means that Imamoglu will spend months, perhaps years in prison. The Economist says they believe that Turkey is nearing a point of no return. They say only last week, Turkey was still what political scientists call a competitive authoritarian regime, although President Erdogan wields unchecked executive powers and de facto control over the courts and most of the media. Turkey's elections had remained mostly free. But they say on Wednesday, police detained the strongest rival to Erdogan, Imamoglu, along with dozens of others, including a number of his top advisors. What remains, they say, is close to naked autocracy. That's what The Economist says. Autocracy is a government by one person with absolute power. Also, as I mentioned, they point out that the day before Imamoglu was arrested, his university revoked the authorities, they say, revoked his university diploma. And you need a university diploma to run for president in Turkey. And The Economist says both the opposition and independent observers say that move was purely political. They say the same goes for the criminal charges leveled against the mayor. And as we've been talking about, these are the biggest protests in Turkey in over a decade. Many roads have been closed. As we were just telling you, there's been over a week-long now ban on, it's been extended to over a week, a ban on public demonstrations. Social media has been throttled. The Economist says for months, Imamoglu has enjoyed a comfortable lead over Erdogan in the polls. Interestingly, The Economist also says Mr. Erdogan has taken a big risk by wagering that the benefit of removing a top rival is worth the cost of gutting Turkey's democracy. They do point out, they say the reaction from Europe has been muted. European powers are hoping to enlist Turkey to participate in a peacekeeping force after a possible ceasefire in Ukraine, and to play a bigger role in European security more generally. So they might not want to upset Erdogan. Also, America has scarcely reacted at all, says The Economist. I've seen such comments elsewhere. But they also point out in The Economist, as other articles do, that the financial markets have reacted strongly. In the 3 days after Imamoglu's arrest, the stock market in Turkey's main stock market index fell by 16.3%. Also, the government has burned through $26 billion in foreign reserves to keep the lira from crashing. So how is this going to... If you want to read the whole article, go to The Economist. It's called President Erdogan Jails His Rival and Endangers Turkey's Democracy. What is going to happen there? I don't know. Where are these protests going? We don't know. You know, the next presidential election is scheduled for 2028, but if Erdogan wants to run again, it's got to be before then. I have no idea what's going on. Where this is going there. Let me take some comments from you guys. Ronan says America is focused on America. That's what our viewer said. Luke MC 110 thinks it's an authoritarian regime. Loki says Erdogan knows the West needs Turkish airspace. Roger Shoemaker says America loves Turkey. I can probably get you also some stuff about the Turkish, about like how this has affected their stock market in the lira. Let me try to show you something about that. I think I should be able to get it for you. Give me one moment here. So this, when was this from? This is from 2 days ago. Turkey's market rout worsens amid protests, worst stock slump since 2008. This is from Reuters from 2 days ago. They say Turkish stocks were set for their worst week since the aftermath of 2008's Lehman Brothers collapse on Friday, as concerns about this week's detention of President Erdogan's main political rival refused to subside. The lira was set for a 4% weekly slump despite aggressive action from Turkey's central bank supporting it, while the latest sell-off in stocks triggered two market-wide circuit breakers on Borsa Istanbul. The move against the Istanbul Mayor Ekrem Imamoglu was called a coup attempt by the opposition and appears to cap a months-long legal crackdown on opposition figures, which has been condemned as a politicalized attempt to silence dissent. Turkey's lira stocks and bonds have suffered since Wednesday when authorities detained Imamoglu, seen as Erdogan's main political rival. Protests erupted and thousands marched nationwide. The cost of insuring Turkey's debt against default widened. Turkey's finance minister on Friday called market fluctuations temporary and said necessary measures were being taken. And then some of our viewers were mentioning this. I've seen various reports about this, like, for example, Politico reported, political.eu, that Elon Musk's X suspends opposition accounts in Turkey amid civil unrest. They say X has suspended several accounts belonging to opposition figures in Turkey. I'm guessing that the government asked for them. An expert that Politico talked to said a majority of the suspended accounts were university-associated activist accounts, basically sharing protest information, locations for students to go to. Politico also said that some of the accounts seem to be suspended only in Turkey. I'd have to look up and check, though. I thought I might have seen that maybe the government requested those accounts suspended. Let me see if I can find anything else about that. Anyways, I can't write this second. Mona L says, I don't think Elon did it, but who knows? I think she means without being asked to. Dr. McRib says they have done it with other countries too. So where is this all going? Are these protests going to get worse? It's really interesting. The Economist says they expect that he will now, Imamoglu, he was the elected leader in Istanbul, the elected mayor, popular political figure there. They expect that he will now spend months, perhaps years in prison. Again, he's been removed as mayor as of today. Chris N. believes that Elon Musk has to follow the legal authority of the country X is in operation in. I'm seeing a report also that, is this true? Hold on. Seeing some other reports about Turkey finance stuff. Let me see if I can find this for you and confirm it. I'm not seeing it there. I've seen some unconfirmed reports online saying like Turkey temporarily banned short selling or something like that. I can't confirm that though. Let's see here. The Wall Street Journal also says about the arrest of Erdogan's main political rival. The Wall Street Journal says some European leaders have criticized his arrest. U.S. reaction has been muted. That means quiet. They also say Imamoglu is widely seen as the strongest candidate to challenge. They say that Imamoglu is widely seen as the strongest candidate to challenge Erdogan for president in any election. Oh, is this a Reuters report? Hold on a second here. I don't see it from Reuters. Oh, what is this? Hold on a second. Capital Markets Board of Turkey. I think I found this. The Financial Regulatory Board in Turkey. Okay. Let me show you what they posted. I just found their post. This is their financial regulator in Turkey there. They posted like an hour ago. Let me show you what they said. Give me a second. They said, SPK, due to the recent developments in the Borsa Istanbul markets, it has become necessary for our board to take certain measures. Short selling transactions in Borsa Istanbul equity markets are prohibited. That's when you bet on stocks to go down, basically. The Borsa Istanbul is the sole, that's basically the Turkish stock market. It's the Wikipedia says it is the sole exchange entity of Turkey. Basically the Turkey Stock Exchange, as I understand it. So Turkey Stock Exchange has banned short selling, facilitated share buybacks of publicly held companies. I don't understand the other thing. Do you apply the equity ratio in a flexible manner for the duration of credit capital markets transactions? Anyways, I don't understand all of this, but it does say that they have prohibited short selling. Xylee says always a good sign when you ban short selling. By the way, there might still be a lot of people out there protesting right now. I don't know. The videos that we had from Istanbul and Ankara are no longer available. Hang on a second. I'm having an issue with my... So certainly this is going to be something that we keep an eye on, and we very well might do more streams on this as things develop. I don't know how things are going to develop there. Oh, some of our viewers saying they're live on TikTok. Yeah, so just as an example, I cannot steal like TikTok videos, but I can certainly direct you guys. I'll put up on my phone here. I'm limited to what I have the rights to use. There's one person streaming on TikTok who looks like they're streaming from, I don't know. Assuming it's live and it's not recorded. I don't know if it's Ankara. The person's name is Telegato. Telegato. Showing some people on the street. So you can check that out. And there might be other people showing stuff, although I cannot say. ANI News has a video that they say is from Ankara. So again, I can't verify that. Oh no, that's old. So ANI News is live now, but it's not actually live. So ANI News is showing a video on YouTube, but it's the Reuters video that we were showing before. And they have it, they say it's live, but I know it's not live because it's literally the video we were showing before. It's the Reuters video, which is not live anymore. So, for whatever that's worth. All right. Hang on a moment here. Checking out some of the other comments here. Our viewer, Aloha Alforha, said the protest in Istanbul, where the camera was before, was intervened, the police intervened. That's probably why you haven't been able to get a feed by there, and sent me a couple of, the viewer sent me a couple of reports from social media that said that police intervened in those protests. I guess they might have broken them up. I'm not sure. That video was going in and out tonight from Istanbul. It was better last night, but it was in and out tonight. Alex Malarkey, our viewer, says, I voted for Trump all 3 times, but the silence from the administration regarding Turkey is a really bad look. That's what Alex said. Hold on a second here. Thanks also to our viewer. Who sent this to me? It's going to be a name. It's a military tracker. Savai Tracker sent me this. I had missed this before. This was 2 hours ago. So this is from X Global Government Affairs. It's an official account on X. They say, we object to multiple court orders from the Turkish Information and Communication Technologies Authority to block over 700 accounts of news organizations, journalists, political figures, students, and others within Turkey. Providing a platform committed to defending everyone's right to free speech is paramount at X, and we believe this decision for the Turkish government is not only unlawful, it hinders millions of Turkish users from news and political discourse in this country. We look forward to defending these principles through the legal system. X will always defend freedom of speech everywhere we operate. But, again, they have, according to reports like one from Politico, I read you, politico.eu, they have taken down some accounts over the last few days in Turkey. So this statement says they object to requests. It doesn't say they're not going to comply with any of them. Lasher, the protest on ANI News is not live. It's literally the video that we were showing about an hour ago. It's the exact video. It's not live. If you want to see it, you can also rewind this broadcast when we were showing it live. It's a Reuters video, I know. Thank you for sending that in. Another video, a viewer sent me a video that was live before. It's not live now. Again, I can't. That was from Istanbul. So yeah, there's people posting on social media. these things, but I can only use the ones I have the rights to. But that one, the viewer just sent me KG the tweet. Thanks for writing in. Sent me a couple other ones that were from Istanbul that are no longer live. Anyways, I don't have any video right now I can show you anymore. Let's see here. Thanks. A couple other people sent me some links here too. I'm just going over some of the messages people have been sending in. Our viewer Gerard Lind says, I lived in Turkey in 2023. I have a lot of Turkish friends, young friends. Their wish is more freedom to go study or travel to Europe. Under Erdogan, it's barely impossible. That's what our viewer Gerard is saying. Gerard says, a lot of Turkish people wish to become more Western. This is a turnover point. Also, the last years, the lira has been really bad. Thank you, Gerard, for the comment. Okay, well, look, we covered these protests with the video we had, talked about them, gave you updates about the situation. This is an ongoing situation in Turkey. Don't know how this is going to play out. Again, the next presidential election is officially in 2028, but it very well could be much sooner. So how is this going to play out in the coming days in Turkey? Are there going to be more demonstrations? Is Imamoglu going to be officially banned from running in the presidential election? I don't know. So certainly going to be keeping an eye on this. And as news develops, depending on the news, we certainly could do more live coverage of it. Okay? So I really appreciate you guys being here for our Turkey coverage today. And I will also post updates that I see on my X account. My X account is @Lookner on X. You can follow me over there if you want. So when I'm not on the air, I'll post updates there. And again, if there's really big developments, we can do more live streaming on it. So I really appreciate you guys being here for our Turkey live coverage, Turkey political crisis and protests. Subscribe and follow the channel if you like the coverage. We cover all kinds of news events, international, national news, without an agenda. And also make sure you turn on your notifications, because I don't know when big stuff's going to happen and I have to jump on the air. So we have a notification system we've set up. It works great. And you sign up once, it's free, and you get sent a notification every single time right before we go live, so you don't miss a live stream. The mods will post the link to the notifications in the chat, and you can also find that link in the description of this video on Facebook and YouTube. So make sure you sign up for the notifications. But I really appreciate you guys joining the stream, watching the stream. Also, thanks everybody who's been sending me updates, who've been posting comments and questions, letting me read them on the air. So thanks for participating in the broadcast as well. And a huge thanks to our moderators. Without them, we could not have our chat rooms, which are an essential part of the channel. So huge shout out to our moderators, such as Beth Mythical, Ruth Krafasi, Carms over there on YouTube. Thanks to all of them, and all of our other YouTube moderators, Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, our ex-moderators, thank you. Also on Twitch, all of our moderators there, like Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, David Green, Matthew Kohai 3, Mick Britches, Surly Dev, and our other Twitch moderators, and our Facebook moderators, like Margaret Riley, Paul Anderson, Kay Lowry Body, thank you. Moderators, big shout out to you. And also, thanks so much to everybody who donated. That's super nice of you guys. You are the ones who keep the channel on the air with your support and enable me to purchase this footage and stuff. So thank you for your support. Thanks to Gerald Torner, our new member. Thanks also Ali Akar. Ali Akar thinks that Imamoglu is a criminal and thinks the protests are aimed at weakening Turkey's hand in the international arena. That's what Ali thinks. Ali is from Turkey. Thank you, Ali Akar, for your support. Thanks also Pierre Dubois, who's a member, and Babelicious, and Prepper Medic for the gift memberships. I owe a couple people thank yous. Hey, thanks from Turkey to, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, something like Kidemitsiz Atli Okçu, perhaps. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name, who says, as a Turk, I want you to know something will definitely change in Turkey. The protests are growing. Police are attacking demonstrators. Chaos prevails. Thanks for your support and for writing in. Shout out to everybody in Turkey watching, especially. Also, thanks to Martin Gingrich, who says, this makes me think how bad it may have gotten here if Trump had been jailed. Shudder. Thank you, Robert S. Jordan, for your support. And Dennis Dermaz, who says, today 15 million people voted for Imamoglu. That's in the opposition party presidential primary that they held today. Thanks also, Mikhail, our member. Sorry, I was behind on the thank yous. And also thank you, Total Blank Show, for subscribing on Twitch. Divergent Bully for subscribing on Twitch. And again, shout out to Trump Sword and Fred Vanderwerf and everybody else who donated. I appreciate it. If you ever want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But again, thanks for supporting the channel. Hey, we have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not live. A lot of our viewers like doing it. It's on Discord, the Discord chat. It's free. Check it out. Same link as the notifications link. Thanks so much to our Discord mods for all you do as well. Another good way to find out when we're going live to cover breaking news, follow us on X at AgendaFreeTV. I always post there when we're going live, and I post updates about the channel there at AgendaFreeTV. And for those of you who watch on YouTube, I would suggest turning on the YouTube notifications. That can be really helpful in finding out when we're live. But to do that, what you got to do, well, you got to subscribe first on YouTube, and then after you subscribe, you click the bell, the notifications bell, and you choose all notifications. So if you are a YouTube subscriber, make sure you have the bell checked and you've chosen all. All right, I want to shout out also our supporters over there on Facebook, our Facebook subscribers who support the channel, like Sharon Klassen Goslin, Robert Rial II, Eve Richards, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body, Michael Clayton, Erin Van Ness, all of our Facebook subscribers. Thank you. Jennifer Ellers, Rita Evans Lang. Thanks, Facebook subscribers, for supporting the channel. And also our Twitch subscribers. Thanks to you for supporting the channel. People like Douthis, Wall Street and Shaggy, Matthew Kohai 3, Ruben Amorim, Total Blank Show, Divergent Bully, Pro Clicker, Monkey, Softball Paul, Allistic, Mr. Bigly Uncredible, thank you, Monkey, I think I said Monkey already, I'll say it twice, Rob from HD, and all of our other Twitch subscribers. Thank you. And our YouTube members, thanks for all of your support. All of our YouTube members out there, people like J.K. Senard, Laura in Detroit, Marin Gobra, Pierre Dubois, Buffalo Women, Peasy Wheats, Cupcake, good to see you, Cupcake, in France, Marin Gobra, Anita Modaluski, Teresa, Peasy Wheats, Trump Sword, Chris Canada, Quebec City, Don Ladd, Mulligan, Sinan, Mona L, Bluesy Girl, 67, Gummy, Macro Geek, Thomas Darwin, Barry, Callie Raven, Pat W, Loki, Patricia Grace, Wickedest Witch, Terry Rose, John Flick, Babelicious, Tommy Zinneman. Thank you, members. All of our other YouTube members as well. And hang on a second here. Roger Shoemaker. And thanks to all of our other viewers as well. Toast and Loaf, Dayton. Our viewer Frosty says, politically, this world is a disaster. Thank you, Otto D. Liu, for watching. And also, thanks for watching Christy Claft, Tia Christie, Chris McVeigh, Artist Caverlin. All right, guys. Hopeful Giraffe, Gimmer Strike, Whoops Lee, Strong One, Golden Days, all of our other viewers, thank you. That is it for now. You've been watching our live coverage of the protests in Turkey and political crisis there. We very well might have more coverage as news continues to develop there. But that is it right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.